He first witness takes the stand. And with just one sentence, the illusion shatters. Allegations of manipulation, hidden bank accounts, and a voice recording that might destroy Kody's reputation forever. The audience leans forward, because this isn't just a trial. It's a war for truth, for legacy, and for the freedom of every woman who ever called him husband. The doors creak shut behind them. The sound echoes through the courtroom like the final seal on years of silence. A murmur runs through the crowd. Journalists, old fans, even a few former neighbors who'd come just to see what truth would finally come out. The air feels thick, heavy, charged. Kody Brown adjusts his tie, his face pale but proud. He tries to hold his head high, but there's something brittle in his posture, something that looks a lot like fear. Across the aisle, Christine sits quietly. Her eyes don't move from the table in front of her. Her hands are clasped tight, as if holding together every piece of herself she once gave away. The judge's voice cuts through the silence. Court is now in session. Case number 1457, Brown versus Brown. It's official now. Years of quiet tension have led to this. A family that once shared everything, now divided by walls, secrets, and the truth they can no longer run from. Christine's attorney stands first, a tall woman with a calm but powerful tone. Your Honor, she begins. This case is not about religion or marriage. It's about manipulation, financial control, and emotional abuse wrapped under the disguise of faith and family. Kody exhales sharply, shaking his head. He mutters something under his breath, something only Robyn hears. She places a hand on his arm, whispering softly, "Stay calm. Please, for once, stay calm." But he can't. Because for the first time, the entire world is watching his family, not as the picture-perfect polygamous clan America once adored, but as something darker, more human, and much more broken. This trial isn't about justice. It's about exposing who he truly is when the cameras stop rolling. Christine's lawyer walks to the center of the courtroom. We will show that Mr. Brown used emotional manipulation to maintain control over his wives, financially, mentally, and spiritually. We will also present evidence of hidden accounts, falsified documents, and recordings that reveal a pattern of coercion. The courtroom hums. Flashbulbs flicker from the press bench. Kody's jaw tightens. His attorney, a slick man in a navy suit, rises slowly, his voice sharp. These are personal family matters twisted into spectacle. My client, Mr. Brown, has done nothing but provide, protect, and guide his family. These allegations? They're nothing but vengeance disguised as virtue. Christine closes her eyes. She's heard that voice before. Smooth, confident, always twisting pain into pride. The first witness is called Janelle Brown. As she walks to the stand, there's an audible shift in the room. Even the judge looks surprised. Kody's eyes widen. Janelle? He whispers. She doesn't respond. She's composed, steady, but there's something behind her eyes. Years of silence pressing to the surface. The bailiff swears her in, and Christine looks at her, grateful, terrified, and deeply uncertain of what will come next. Janelle takes a breath. For a long time, I believed in him, she says, nodding toward Kody. I believed in what we built, but over the years, things changed. He became controlling. About money, about where we lived, even about who we talked to. Kody shifts uncomfortably. That's not true, he mutters. Janelle doesn't look at him. He told us independence was prideful, that obedience was love. I worked, but the money went into one account. His account. The lawyer leans in. And who had access to that account? Just him. And sometimes Robyn A. Ripple moves through the crowd. Cameras click, Robyn's eyes fill with tears. That's not fair, she says softly. But her voice trembles. Even she doesn't sound convinced. The lawyer holds up a folder. Ms. Brown, do you recognize these bank statements? Janelle nods. Yes. These show withdrawals, large sums, made under Mr. Brown's authorization. Trips, gifts, purchases for one household, not the others. Janelle swallows. I tried to ask about it once, she says. He told me I was being ungrateful. That questioning him meant I didn't have faith. Kody's attorney rises. Objection. Emotional speculation. The judge frowns. Overruled. Continue. Janelle exhales slowly, her voice trembling just slightly. I stayed quiet for years. We all did. Because we were told the family came first, even before our own happiness. But that wasn't family. That was control. Christine's eyes glisten. She knows this pain too well. The constant gaslighting, the guilt wrapped in scripture. The lawyer nods. Thank you, Miss Brown. No further questions. When Kody's lawyer stands for cross-examination, his tone changes. Smooth, persuasive, the kind of tone Kody has always loved. Janelle, he says with a friendly smile, you and Mr. Brown have 6 children together. You lived under one roof for years. Do you regret that? Janelle hesitates. No, I regret losing myself in it. So, you're angry, he presses. I'm not angry, she says, her voice steady now. I'm free. A collective gasp ripples across the room. Even the court reporter pauses for a moment before typing again. Kody leans back, crossing his arms, his jaw tight. She was always the smart one, he mutters to Robyn. Guess that's what makes betrayal hurt the most. Robyn whispers, Stop talking, Kody. But his eyes burn with a mix of anger and fear. The judge calls a short recess. The crowd erupts into murmurs as people stand, whispering, trying to process what they've just heard. Christine stays seated. Her eyes follow Janelle as she steps down from the witness stand. They exchange a look, one that says everything words can't. Gratitude, sadness, strength. Outside the courtroom, reporters shout questions. Christine, do you think you'll win? Kody, how do you respond to financial manipulation claims? Neither of them answer, but their silence says enough. Back inside, the judge returns. Court is back in session. Christine's lawyer calls the next witness. Your Honor, the plaintiff calls Meri Brown. The courtroom falls silent again. Kody's face drops. Even he didn't expect this. Meri walks slowly to the stand, clutching a folded letter in her hand. She looks fragile, almost transparent under the harsh lighting. But there's something in her eyes, a quiet fire. After being sworn in, she looks at Christine for a long moment. Then, without a word, she unfolds the letter. This, she says, was the note Kody left for me after our legal separation. I've never shown it to anyone before. The paper shakes slightly as she reads, Meri, I wish you peace and acceptance. Please remember, everything I've done has been for the family's survival. Her voice cracks. But that wasn't true. It wasn't about survival, it was about control. About keeping us dependent, emotionally and financially, so we'd never walk away. The lawyer asks gently, Why are you testifying today, Meri? She takes a deep breath. Because I want Christine to have the closure I never did. Because maybe, if the truth is told here, we can finally stop pretending everything was wholly about our pain. A tear rolls down her cheek. Even the judge looks away, giving her a moment to gather herself. Kody looks shattered. For the first time, he doesn't speak. His lips tremble, but no words come out. The session nears its end. Christine's lawyer gathers her notes. Your Honor, she says. Today, we've heard from 2 women who lived under the same roof, loved the same man, and suffered the same control. Tomorrow, we will present recordings and documents that prove this wasn't just emotional manipulation. It was a calculated pattern of coercion. The judge nods. Court will reconvene tomorrow morning. The gavel strikes. As people file out, Christine remains seated. Her hands tremble slightly. Janelle and Meri approach her. No words, just a silent exchange of strength. Robyn walks past them, her face pale, eyes swollen from tears. She pauses near Christine, whispering, You think you're helping? You're destroying everything we built. Christine looks up slowly. No, Robyn. I'm saving what's left of it outside. Cameras flash. The world is watching. Every expression, every tremble, every tear. The family that once preached unity now stands divided under fluorescent courtroom lights. And somewhere in that chaos, as Christine steps into the cold air, she feels something she hasn't felt in years. Peace, even if it's fragile. To be continued. The next morning, the courthouse is surrounded by cameras. News vans line the street like vultures waiting for their next meal. Every window glints with the reflection of flashing bulbs. The Brown family is no longer just a headline. They're a spectacle. Christine arrives first. Her eyes are steady, but her heart is racing. Last night, she barely slept, replaying every word from Janelle and Meri's testimonies. Every look from Kody. Every moment, she almost doubted herself. But she knows she can't stop now. Inside, the courtroom feels colder today. Maybe it's the tension. Maybe it's the truth settling in. Kody walks in minutes later. His expression unreadable. Robyn clings to his arm, her eyes swollen from tears and lack of sleep. She's wearing black, maybe for sympathy, maybe for guilt. The judge takes his seat. We will now continue with the case of Brown versus Brown. Christine's attorney stands, her voice calm but electric with anticipation. Your Honor, today we will introduce new evidence. Audio recordings that demonstrate a pattern of emotional coercion and financial deception. A wave of murmurs spreads through the audience. Kody's lawyer quickly rises. Your Honor, we object. These so-called recordings have not been authenticated. They will be. The attorney replies smoothly. And the voice on them will speak for itself. The judge nods. Proceed. A screen is wheeled to the front of the courtroom. Christine can feel her pulse in her throat. She remembers that night clearly, the night she pressed record on her phone, desperate to have proof of what everyone refused to believe. The attorney presses play. The courtroom fills with the sound of Kody's voice. Calm, charming at first, then sharp, commanding. You don't get to decide what's fair, Christine. I do. I'm the head of this family. You follow my lead, not the other way around. Christine closes her eyes. Hearing it again feels like reopening an old wound. On the recording, her own voice answers softly. This isn't about leadership, Kody. It's about respect. His tone turns cold. You don't respect me anymore. You're poisoning the family against me. Maybe you need to remember what happens when you defy the order I built. A gasp ripples through the courtroom. The sound of Kody's own anger hangs in the air like smoke. The judge looks sternly toward him. Mr. Brown, do you acknowledge that this is your voice? Kody straightens, trying to regain composure. It sounds like me, but it's taken out of context. Context doesn't change tone, the judge replies. The attorney pauses the recording. This is just one of several pieces of evidence that show manipulation was not an accident, but a method. One used to control, to isolate, and to silence. Robyn wipes her face, staring down. She can't meet Kody's eyes. Kody's attorney stands. Objection. This entire narrative is being twisted. My client's words were part of a marital discussion, not coercion. The judge sighs. You'll have your chance for cross-examination. Sit down. Kody sits heavily, his hands gripping the table. His mind is spinning. How did she record that? How long has she been preparing this? He glances toward Robyn, but she looks away. Christine keeps her gaze forward, her breath steady. Every second of that recording was a moment she once lived through. Now it's no longer trapped inside her, it's out in the open. The lawyer presses play again. Kody's voice, darker this time. If you leave, you'll regret it. You think they'll follow you? They won't. They're nothing without me. You're nothing without me. The courtroom is silent. No one moves. The judge finally says, enough. Stop the recording. Christine exhales, her hands shaking. The sound fades, but the memory doesn't. Kody looks hollow. His arrogance is gone, replaced by something quieter. Fear. The attorney walks closer to him. Mr. Brown, were you aware your wife felt unsafe during these conversations? He hesitates. I was trying to save my family. By threatening her? I was passionate. That's not a crime. But using faith as control. That's not passion, Mr. Brown. That's power disguised as righteousness. He doesn't answer. The judge leans back. Let's take a short recess. Outside the courtroom, reporters swarm. Microphones flash, questions overlap. Christine's lawyer guides her through the crowd, but she can hear every question like a drumbeat. Christine, do you feel vindicated? Kody, do you deny the recording? Robyn, were you part of the cover-up? Kody snaps, no comment, and shoves past them. Cameras catch every second. Christine doesn't say a word. She's not here for fame. She's here for freedom. Back inside, the tension thickens again. Kody's lawyer calls for cross-examination. The man's voice is steady, rehearsed. Mrs. Brown, these recordings, you chose when to start them, correct? Yes. So you were controlling what we hear. I was controlling the only thing I could. My truth. He paces slowly. You stayed with him for years, after these alleged threats. Why? Christine's voice breaks slightly. Because I believed him, when he said things would change. Because when you've been made to feel small long enough, you start to think small is where you belong. The lawyer nods, almost smiling. And yet, here you are, trying to destroy his reputation. Christine looks up, straight into Kody's eyes. No, I'm just done letting him destroy ours. A quiet murmur spreads across the room. Even the judge seems moved by the weight of it. In the back row, Janelle and Meri exchange looks. Silent encouragement. They know how much it costs to say those words out loud. The lawyer sighs, closing his file. No further questions. Christine's attorney steps forward again. Your Honor, the plaintiff would like to submit additional documentation, joint account ledgers, and communication records that corroborate the financial control described. The judge nods. Accepted. Kody's lawyer flips through the pages in frustration. This proves nothing but a family managing shared expenses. Christine's lawyer replies calmly, expenses that were never shared equally. Every account routes back to Mr. Brown's primary signature. Every withdrawal, every investment, all directed to the same address. The address flashes on the screen, Robyn's household. The air goes still. Robyn's face drains of color. That's not true, she whispers. I didn't know. Christine turns toward her. You always knew, Robyn. Maybe not the details, but you knew where the money was going. You just didn't ask why tears slide down Robyn's cheeks. She doesn't answer. The judge raises a hand. Let's maintain order. Kody slams his hand on the table. Enough. This is all twisted. They're using my own family against me. The judge's gavel cracks. Mr. Brown, one more outburst and I'll have you removed from the courtroom. Kody sinks back, his breathing harsh. The silence after his shout feels even louder. Christine's lawyer continues calmly. Your Honor, before we adjourn, I'd like to play one more recording. One made, not by Christine, but by Meri. Kody's head snaps up. What? Meri looks pale but resolute. She holds up a small flash drive. It's from the last family meeting we had before Christine left. I recorded it because I knew someday he'd deny what he said. The courtroom leans forward. The file plays through the speakers. Kody's voice again, angry but controlled. If you leave this family, you'll lose your faith, your place, your home. I won't let anyone else follow you. They'll all stay with me because I'm the only one who knows what's best. And then a pause, and Christine's quiet reply, You can't own people, Kody. He laughs bitterly on the tape. Watch me. The room freezes. The recording stops. Meri closes her eyes, holding back tears. Christine's hand covers hers gently. The judge sighs, heavy. This is more than a domestic dispute. It's a pattern of control. Under the guise of family leadership, Kody's lawyer stands, his voice low. Your Honor, my client has the right to defend his faith and his choices. He's being vilified for his beliefs. Oh, no, the judge says firmly. He's being judged for his actions. The courtroom sits in stunned silence. Outside, thunder rumbles faintly, the kind that always seems to roll in when emotions reach their breaking point. Christine gathers her things. As she stands, she looks back at the courtroom one more time. It doesn't feel like victory. It feels like release, but she knows it's not over. There's still more evidence, more witnesses, and deeper secrets to come. Secrets that will test even her own faith in what really happened inside that family. Kody stays seated, staring at the empty chair where Christine was. Robyn whispers something, but he doesn't respond. For the first time, he's silent, not from pride, but from fear of what tomorrow might bring. The judge's voice breaks the quiet. Court will reconvene tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. The gavel falls. As Christine walks out into the rain, the sound of thunder follows her. The world outside the courthouse is chaotic, but inside her, something steady begins to grow. She isn't just fighting for justice anymore, she's fighting for truth. Not the kind people broadcast on television, but the kind that changes everything when it's finally spoken aloud. And somewhere behind her, through the sound of rain and distant cameras, Kody's voice echoes faintly in her mind, not from the recordings, but from memory. You'll regret this. But she doesn't look back, because for the first time in her life, she doesn't believe him. The next day dawns gray and restless. Heavy clouds hang over the courthouse, casting long shadows across the steps where reporters are already gathering. The air hums with tension, the kind that creeps under your skin and refuses to leave. Christine stands by the window in her hotel room, staring at the street below. She can see the flashes of cameras even from here, the blur of umbrellas and microphones waiting for her arrival. Her reflection looks tired, not from the fight, but from everything it took to reach this point. Behind her, a knock at the door. It's Janelle. You ready? She asks softly. Christine nods, though her voice trembles when she answers. I don't know if anyone's ever ready for something like this. Janelle smiles faintly. Then we fake it until we are. They ride to the courthouse together in silence, each lost in their own thoughts, each wondering how much more of their private pain is about to be laid bare for the world to consume. Inside, the courtroom is fuller than ever. The air feels heavy with anticipation. Even the judge looks unsettled. He knows something is coming. Christine's lawyer adjusts her files and turns toward her client. Today's going to be tough, she says quietly. There are things that might hurt to hear. Stay strong. Christine nods, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. She knows this is where things will break, or finally begin to heal. Kody enters moments later. His eyes are red, his jaw clenched. He looks like a man cornered, not just by law, but by truth itself. Robyn follows closely, her expression unreadable. There's distance between them now, the kind that silence can't hide. The judge calls the room to order. We are reconvened for the continuation of Brown versus Brown. Plaintiff, you may proceed. Christine's attorney stands. Your Honor, the plaintiff would like to call our next witness, Robyn Brown. Gasps ripple across the courtroom. Even Christine looks momentarily stunned. Robyn's name was never on the list. Kody turns sharply toward her. What? His voice is a low growl. You didn't tell me you were testifying. Robyn's eyes flicker with guilt. I didn't know until this morning. The bailiff escorts her to the stand. The silence is absolute. Even the cameras seem to stop clicking. Robyn takes her oath. Her hands tremble slightly, but her voice, when it comes, is steady, softer than usual, almost haunted. I was part of everything, she begins. Every meeting, every discussion about the family. I thought I was helping, but I see now that I wasn't. Kody shifts uncomfortably, his lawyer whispering furiously in his ear. But Robyn continues. I believed in the structure. I believed Kody knew what was best. But when money started disappearing and the tension between the wives grew, I asked questions. He told me not to. He said, the less you know, the safer you are. Christine stares at her, stunned. She had prepared for anger, denial, even tears, but not this. Robyn glances toward her. Christine, I didn't know how bad it was for you. I saw things, but I didn't want to believe them. I told myself he was under pressure, that he was trying to hold the family together. But the truth is, I was protecting him, not us. The room feels frozen. Kody stands abruptly. Robyn, stop talking. Don't do this. The judge's gavel strikes. Mr. Brown, sit down. Robyn looks straight at him now. You told me they were the problem, that they were disobedient, ungrateful. But you were the one tearing us apart. You turned us against each other so no one would ever unite against you. Christine exhales slowly, trying to steady her heartbeat. Kody's lawyer jumps in. Mrs. Brown, are you saying you're now supporting the plaintiff's case? Robyn hesitates. I'm saying I'm done lying for him. The entire courtroom erupts. Reporters scramble to take notes. Even the judge seems taken aback. Christine's lawyer smiles faintly. Your Honor, we'd like to submit Exhibit E, a series of text messages between Mr. Brown and Mrs. Brown, showing coordination of finances and manipulation of the other wives' accounts. Kody's lawyer objects immediately. But the judge allows it. The messages appear on the screen. Words that once seemed harmless, now read like evidence of control. Kody, don't tell them where the extra money went. Robyn, I thought we were saving for family expenses. Kody, just trust me. They don't need to know everything. Kody slams his fist on the table. This is ridiculous. Those texts are out of context. Robyn shakes her head. They're exactly what they look like. Christine can feel her throat tightening. For years, she blamed herself for being weak, for not standing up sooner. Hearing Robyn admit the truth feels like both a victory and a heartbreak. The judge leans forward. Mrs. Brown, do you have anything else to add? Robyn looks down at her hands, twisting her wedding ring. Only that I wish I had spoken up sooner. Maybe things would have turned out differently. She steps down from the stand, tears glistening in her eyes. As she passes Christine, she pauses for a brief moment. I'm sorry, she whispers. Christine nods silently. Forgiveness isn't easy, but honesty is a start. The court breaks for lunch. Outside, the chaos is deafening. News outlets scream headlines in real time. Robyn turns on Kody. Brown family implodes in courtroom confession. Inside the courthouse hallway, Christine leans against the wall, trying to breathe. Janelle joins her. You okay? I don't know, Christine admits. I thought I wanted her to admit everything. But now, it just feels sad. Like we all lost something we can't get back? Janelle nods. Maybe we had to lose it to finally be free. Back in the courtroom, the afternoon session begins. Kody looks like a man unraveling. The calm, confident facade is gone. His hands shake as he fidgets with his papers. His lawyer whispers, "We need to counter this. Do you have anyone who can testify in your defense?" Kody's eyes dart toward the back of the room. There's one person, he says quietly. Minutes later, the defense calls a surprise witness. Peyton Brown, Christine and Kody's son. Christine's heart stops. No, she whispers under her breath. Peyton walks to the stand, avoiding his mother's eyes. He looks nervous, torn. After being sworn in, Kody's lawyer begins. Peyton, you've lived in this family your whole life. You've seen both your parents up close. Tell us, did your father ever threaten you or your mother? Peyton hesitates. He never threatened me. He yelled sometimes, but it wasn't violence. And your mother? She was strong. Maybe too strong sometimes. She pushed him away. Before he even tried to fix things, Christine feels her stomach twist. This isn't his fault. She knows that. Kody is manipulating the narrative again, using emotion where logic fails. Kody's lawyer presses. So you'd say your father was trying to hold the family together? Peyton nods slowly. I think he wanted to. I think he just didn't know how. Kody gives a small, triumphant smile. For a moment, he looks like the man from the TV show again. Charming, misunderstood, always in control of his own story. Christine's lawyer stands for cross-examination. Peyton, you said your father never threatened you directly. Did you ever hear him speak to your mother the way he did in those recordings? Peyton hesitates. I heard arguments. Arguments or control? Silence. The lawyer softens her tone. You love your father, don't you? Of course I do. And your mother? He nods, his voice breaking. Yes. Then let me ask you something simple. When you look at both of them, who seems freer today? Peyton's voice cracks. My mom. The room goes quiet again. Kody lowers his eyes. The lawyer nods gently. That's all, thank you. When Peyton steps down, Christine reaches out instinctively, but he walks past her without a glance. It hurts, more than any accusation could. The judge calls for order once more. We'll resume tomorrow with closing testimonies. Until then, both parties are advised to avoid public statements. The gavel falls. As the courtroom empties, Christine remains seated. The silence feels endless. Kody stands near the exit, his expression unreadable. For a moment, he looks at her, not with anger, but with something almost like regret. Then he turns away. Outside, the rain has stopped, but the air still smells like a storm that hasn't quite finished. Christine walks out slowly, her footsteps echoing on the stone steps. Janelle joins her under the awning. "You did good today," she says softly. Christine shakes her head. "It doesn't feel like it. It never does until it's over." Christine looks back at the courthouse, its windows glowing faintly in the fading light. She knows tomorrow will bring new revelations, and maybe even the verdict. But tonight, all she feels is the weight of everything that's been said, and everything still unsaid. For years, their story was told for them, edited, packaged, and sold as a family dream. Now it's raw, painful, real. And in that truth, there's something powerful, something that might just set them free. As she walks away from the courthouse, her phone buzzes with a new message, an unknown number. It reads, "You don't know the whole story. Meet me tomorrow before court." She stares at the screen, heart pounding. The sender's name flashes after a pause. Meri. Christine looks up at the dark sky. Whatever tomorrow brings, it's going to change everything. And somewhere deep inside, for the first time, she's ready for it. The night before, the next hearing feels heavier than any before it. The city outside Christine's hotel window is still awake. Lights flickering against wet pavement, cars moving like restless thoughts through the fog. But inside her room, it's utterly still. Too quiet. She sits on the edge of the bed, staring at her phone again. The message from Meri sits there like a stone on her chest. "You don't know the whole story. Meet me tomorrow before court." Meri, the one who disappeared when the chaos began. The one who said she was done being part of Kody's circus. Christine hasn't spoken to her in months, maybe longer. The last words between them were sharp, bitter, born out of years of misunderstanding and exhaustion. But now, something in that message feels urgent, maybe even dangerous. Christine glances at the clock. 6:12 a.m. She hasn't slept. She grabs her coat, takes a deep breath, and heads out into the cold. The streets are empty this early. Just the hum of distant traffic and the faint glow of streetlights. Meri had told her to meet in a small cafe 2 blocks from the courthouse, a quiet place that doesn't open to the public until 7. When Christine pushes the door open, the bell jingles softly. Meri is already there, sitting in a corner booth with a steaming cup of coffee in front of her. She looks different. Older, yes, but also lighter somehow. Like she's finally stopped pretending to be someone else. Christine hesitates before sitting down. "It's been a while." Meri gives a faint smile. "Too long." They sit in silence for a moment, the air thick with all the things neither of them knows how to say. Finally, Christine breaks it. "You said I don't know the whole story." "What did you mean?" Meri takes a slow sip, her eyes flicking toward the window. "I mean, Kody's been playing a game longer than you realize. What you saw in that courtroom, that's just the surface." Christine frowns. "You think I don't know how he manipulates?" "I lived it, I know," Meri says softly. "But there's more. There's something he's hiding. Something financial. It's not just about the houses or the trust funds. It's about the production money." Christine's heart skips. "The show?" Meri nods. "Yeah. You ever wonder why he was so desperate to keep filming even when the family was falling apart? Why he'd smile for the cameras after screaming behind closed doors? He was getting side payments, not through the family account, through a separate LLC he set up years ago." Christine leans forward. "You're saying he's been taking money off the top?" "More like funneling it. The company name's different. He hid it under one of Robyn's old business registrations. He's been doing it for years." Christine stares at her, disbelief and fury mingling in her chest. And you just found out? Meri shakes her head. I've known for months, but I was scared to come forward. He made me sign papers before I left. NDA, silence clause, said if I broke it, I'd lose everything from my share of the show. Then why tell me now? Meri's voice trembles. Because after what I saw in court yesterday, Robyn testifying, the way Kody looked, it's falling apart. And I can't carry this anymore. You deserve to know, Christine exhales shakily, trying to process the weight of it all. Do you have proof? Meri nods slowly and slides an envelope across the table. Inside are printouts, bank statements, payment receipts, and emails between Kody and the network producer. Christine flips through them, her pulse pounding faster with each line. Transfers, hidden deposits, notes about off-record compensation. This could destroy him, she whispers. Meri's eyes are wet now. Maybe it's time he destroyed himself. Christine looks up, meeting Meri's gaze. You know what this means, right? If I bring this forward, it won't just end the case. It'll end him. The show, his reputation, everything. Meri nods slowly. He already ended himself a long time ago. The rest of us are just catching up. They sit there for a long moment, the weight of their shared history hanging in the quiet cafe. When Christine finally stands, she feels something she hasn't in a long time. Not anger, not fear, but clarity. She hugs Meri before leaving. Thank you, she says quietly. Just finish it, Meri replies. For all of us. By the time Christine arrives at the courthouse, the crowd is bigger than ever. Reporters swarm the steps, shouting questions about Robyn's testimony, about Kody's collapse in image, about rumors of a financial scandal. The story is everywhere now, trending, viral, unstoppable. Inside the courtroom, Kody looks furious. He glares at Christine as she takes her seat, eyes burning with the kind of rage that only comes from losing control. The judge enters. Court is now in session. Plaintiff, you may proceed with your final evidentiary submission. Christine's lawyer stands. Your Honor, new information has come to light that we believe is directly relevant to this case. It pertains to the defendant's undisclosed financial accounts and business dealings related to the family's television production. Kody's lawyer immediately objects. Objection, Your Honor. This is outside the scope of discovery. The judge frowns. Do you have documentation, counsel? Christine's lawyer nods. We do, Your Honor. These are verified records provided by a former business associate of the defendant. The documents are handed to the bailiff. The judge reviews them for a moment. Then his expression changes. These appear to show recurring payments to an entity owned by the defendant, but not disclosed during discovery. Mr. Brown, can you explain this? Kody's face drains of color. That's a production bonus. It's standard. The judge glances at the papers again. A production bonus funneled through an LLC registered under your wife's maiden name, without notifying your other family members or including it in shared income filings. Kody's lawyer leans in, whispering frantically, but Kody waves him off. It's not what it looks like, he snaps. I earned that money. I'm the one who kept the family together. I'm the one who kept the show alive. The judge's tone hardens. Mr. Brown, this courtroom isn't about television. It's about truth. And right now, the truth appears to show financial deception. Christine can barely breathe. She watches as years of manipulation begin to unravel right in front of her. Kody's words stumble. His confidence fractures. His voice rises, desperate now. You all don't understand. They were nothing without me. Without me, there's no family, no show, no story. I built everything, and this is how they repay me? The courtroom murmurs. Reporters' pens fly across pages. Cameras flash. Christine finally stands, her voice steady. You didn't build a family, Kody. You built control. And you called it love. The judge calls for silence, but the energy in the room is electric, unstoppable. Kody slams his hand against the table, his voice cracking. You think you're the hero here? You're not. You all left because you couldn't handle what real commitment looked like. Christine meets his gaze, calm and unflinching. Commitment isn't control, it's choice. And for once, everyone here is choosing to be free of you. For a long moment, no one moves. The judge clears his throat. This court will take a brief recess to review this new evidence before moving to closing statements. As the gavel falls, the sound echoes through the room like the final note of a long, bitter song. Kody sinks back into his chair, silent now, his anger collapsing into something hollow. Christine turns toward Meri, who has quietly entered the courtroom from the back. Their eyes meet for a brief, powerful moment, a silent acknowledgement of everything lost and everything gained. Outside, the sky has cleared. Sunlight filters through the courthouse windows, soft but certain. Christine steps out onto the steps as the crowd erupts in questions. She doesn't answer any of them. She doesn't need to. For the first time, she feels something she's been chasing for years. Peace. Not the fragile kind that breaks under pressure, but the kind that comes when the truth finally finds its voice. And yet, deep down, she knows the story isn't finished. Because justice isn't just about what's revealed. It's about what still hides in the shadows. And in the Brown family story, there are always more shadows waiting to be brought into the light. The courtroom is silent when everyone returns from recess. No shuffling of papers, no whispers, just the steady tick of the clock on the far wall. It's the kind of silence that feels alive, waiting, breathing, ready to witness the fall of something once powerful. Kody sits stiffly at the defendant's table. His face is drained of color, his lips pressed tight. Robyn sits beside him, her mascara smudged from tears that don't seem to stop. Across the aisle, Christine takes her seat, holding her notes, her expression calm but unreadable. The judge looks up from his bench. We have reviewed the new evidence submitted by the plaintiff. The material appears relevant and credible. We will proceed with closing statements before I deliver my preliminary findings. Christine's attorney rises first. She takes a moment before speaking, just long enough to let the weight of the moment settle into everyone's bones. Your Honor, she begins, we've spent weeks hearing stories of devotion turned into domination, love turned into control, and faith twisted into fear. But at the heart of this case lies something even deeper: power. The power one man used to build his own image while quietly taking away the autonomy of everyone around him. Her voice doesn't waver. We've shown the accounts. We've heard the testimonies. We've seen how emotional manipulation bled into financial exploitation. What was once presented to millions of viewers as unity and faith was, in truth, a carefully constructed illusion. One man's control disguised as family harmony. She walks closer to the jury box, her tone softening. But this case isn't just about punishment. It's about liberation. About a woman, Christine Brown, who found the courage to step into this room and say, enough. Enough silence, enough control, enough lies. Kody shifts in his seat, clenching his jaw. His lawyer rests a hand on his arm, a silent warning to stay quiet. Christine's lawyer continues. The defense will try to convince you that this is a personal matter, that this family's pain doesn't belong in a courtroom. But when manipulation becomes systemic, when it's used to silence, control, and profit, it stops being personal. It becomes abuse. She pauses for a moment, then finishes softly. Today isn't about tearing down a man. It's about standing up for every woman who was told that obedience is love and silence is strength. It's about truth, finally spoken out loud. The courtroom is still. You could hear a pin drop. The judge nods. Defense, your closing statement. Kody's lawyer stands slowly, his voice calm, rehearsed. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard one side of the story. Emotional, powerful, persuasive. But not every powerful story is a true one. The Browns are a complex family. They chose an unconventional path. They built a life together based on faith and consent. And now, years later, the plaintiff seeks to rewrite history because of personal bitterness and regret. He gestures toward Kody. Mr. Brown has been the target of public scrutiny for decades. He has carried the burden of judgment, mockery, and hate, and through it all, He stood by his family. Did he make mistakes? Of course. But mistakes do not make a man a monster. Christine watches him, her expression unreadable. The lawyer continues. We ask you to see through the emotion, through the spectacle, and remember, this is a man who loved his family in his own imperfect way. A man who provided for his wives, raised his children, and sacrificed his privacy for their livelihood. He stops for effect. Do not let one story erase years of love, devotion, and struggle. Because family, even broken family, is still sacred. He nods toward the judge and sits down. For a long moment, no one moves. Then, unexpectedly, Kody stands. His lawyer whispers, "Sit down." But Kody ignores him. "Your Honor," he says, his voice rough. "I need to speak." The judge hesitates. "Mr. Brown, this isn't—" "Please," Kody interrupts. "Just a minute." The judge sighs but nods. Briefly. Kody steps forward, facing the room. His eyes dart between the judge, the reporters, and finally his wives, or rather, the women who used to be. "I'm not perfect," he begins. "Never claimed to be. But everything I did, every decision, every rule, every sacrifice, was for them, for the family. I worked myself to the bone, trying to hold it all together while they turned on me one by one." He looks directly at Christine now. "You think I wanted control? You think I wanted obedience? Number. I wanted respect. I wanted unity. I wanted to lead. That's what men do. That's what I was taught to do." His voice rises, trembling between anger and desperation. "But you all broke that. You took the family we built and made it something ugly. You went to the media, to lawyers, to everyone but me. And now you sit here pretending you're victims. You're not victims. You're traitors." Christine doesn't flinch. She just meets his gaze, steady, calm, unshaken. When she finally speaks, her voice is quiet, but cuts through the air like a blade. "No, Kody. We're survivors." The room is utterly silent. Kody stares at her, his face twitching between rage and grief. Then his voice cracks. "You don't know what it's like to lose everything you built." Christine's eyes soften just slightly. "I do. I lost myself in it." The judge finally speaks. "That's enough. Mr. Brown, please take your seat." Kody hesitates, then lowers his gaze and sits, breathing hard. The judge turns to the clerk. "The court will recess for deliberation. We'll reconvene in 1 hour for the verdict outside." The courthouse buzzes with energy. Reporters flood the steps, microphones flashing in every direction. Christine steps outside for air. She walks to the far end of the courtyard, away from the noise, and leans against a stone pillar. Her hands tremble slightly, from adrenaline, from exhaustion, from everything she's carried. She feels someone approach. It's Meri. "You okay?" Meri asks softly. Christine nods, though her voice is thin. "I don't know what I am." Meri gives a sad smile. That's what healing feels like. They stand together in silence for a while, just breathing. Then Meri says quietly, "Whatever the verdict is, you did it. You told the truth. That's more than any of us ever thought we could do." Christine turns to her. "Do you think he'll ever understand?" Meri looks back toward the courthouse. "Maybe not today. Maybe not ever. But understanding isn't your job anymore." Christine exhales, her chest heavy but lighter somehow. When the hour passes, they return inside. The courtroom fills quickly. Everyone tense, waiting. Even the air feels still, like it knows what's coming. The judge returns to the bench. This court has reviewed the evidence, testimonies, and arguments presented. The findings are as follows. Kody's fingers twitch against the table. Robyn grabs his hand, but he doesn't look at her. The judge continues, his voice clear. This court finds in favor of the plaintiff, Christine Brown. We find that Mr. Brown engaged in financial non-disclosure and coercive behavior that contributed to emotional and financial distress. Christine closes her eyes. The judge goes on. We order restitution to the plaintiff in the amount of $250,000, representing withheld earnings and damages. Furthermore, The court recommends an independent audit of all joint financial holdings related to the family's media contracts. The words hang in the air like a bell that refuses to stop ringing. Kody's head drops into his hands. Robyn's sobs break the silence. Christine doesn't smile. She doesn't cry. She just breathes, deep and steady, as though exhaling a decade of suffocation. The judge strikes the gavel. Court adjourned. The sound echoes through the room. Final. Absolute. Christine stands, turning toward Janelle, then Meri. They meet her with small, tired smiles. The kind that don't celebrate victory, but survival. Kody looks up at her one last time. His eyes are red, swollen, desperate. "You think you've won?" he whispers. "You just destroyed the family." Christine shakes her head gently. "No, Kody. You did that all by yourself." She turns and walks away. Each step feels heavier than the last, but freer too. Outside, the crowd erupts. Cameras flash, questions fly, but Christine keeps walking. Somewhere behind her, a reporter's voice cuts through the noise. "Christine, any message for the other wives or for Kody?" She stops for a moment, turns just enough for the cameras to catch her face. "I just hope," she says softly, "that someday we all learn the difference between love and control." And then she walks away, her figure swallowed by the crowd, leaving behind a courtroom, a verdict, and a man still sitting in the ruins of his own creation.